Hi guys. I look awful. No matter what I do, I can't get this camera to cooperate. Um, I know I am behind. I'm severely behind. Yesterday, all I was doing was catching up on schoolwork, poorly. JavaScript bores me so badly, and I know the reason why it does is because I'm not seeing any practical applications um, to what it is we're learning. He's just showing us different stuff, and I'm like, okay, if there's no application, if there's no actual process to this, it's going to be hard for me to process. So, yesterday I was supposed to go to class. I mean, I have a vehicle, but I went ahead and let them know, not this week, but the next weeks in the future, this is where I'm going to be. I'm going to actually be at class. So, yeah, wish me luck on that. Um, and double luck because hubby has a job that may actually put him um, at work at the time that I would normally be at class. So yeah, it's a little bit of a sticky wicket there. But just keep your fingers crossed. We actually had a friend yesterday go, look, I can take you to and from, and my boss is now looking for people. So there was that yesterday, but yesterday was mostly schoolwork. I didn't get caught up with any shows. I barely got caught up with you guys, and I'm still not caught up with all your entries. So, give me a little bit. I'll be catching up here soon. I still have schoolwork to finish. Um, but mostly I did this so I could talk about Wednesday and the craziness of Wednesday. As you guys know, on Tuesday our income taxes came in. Oh, such a relief. It was about 6,200 all told, um, which put us at a good level. I went ahead and I paid back 1,400 I owed somebody for helping us out, and it put me at about 4,800. Well, we decided that on Wednesday we were going to go and get a car. I already know car shopping when I go to a dealership and buy a new one takes 5 million years. I'm like, I certainly hope this doesn't take 5 million years. So, of course, it took 5 million years. Hubby and I walked down around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So, I mean, in retrospect, it only took a couple of hours. But I am an impatient shopper. I'm not a browser. I'm not any one of those types of people. So whatever it is, I want to go. I want to get it. I want to get out. Um, an attitude that my grandmother instilled in me, believe it or not. Uh, but we walked down. I mean, there's two or three car lots. I mean, the place I wanted to go to is like literally 3/4 of a mile away. It's right at the corner of one of the streets where I live that intersects another major street. And I knew exactly where I wanted to go. I knew exactly what two cars that I wanted to look at. And hubby was like, you know what? He's like, every car I pick, every vehicle is a piece of shit. He was like, they're all junk. The last two cars that you've had, one of them, yeah, was given to you by a woman who knows how to pick a car, my grandmother. He was like, the other one you went and you purchased, and she lasted 5 to 7 years beyond what she was supposed to. Even though we were poor and could barely maintain her, she lasted way beyond what she was supposed to. So you picked the car. I already knew what I wanted. We stopped and we looked, but I'm one of those, I stop, scan a lot. No, keep going. So we headed down to the place, and, we walked among the cars, though to me it's a waste of time. I already know which one I want. First one, I don't see, so I'm looking for the second one, which I noticed they had moved towards the back. So I went over there, looked at it, we walked inside, waited for about 10, 12 minutes. It's a small business, so the owner and a couple of his mechanics pretty much run the place. Um, and that's pretty much what they do. I mean, it's a small lot. It's a small business. So we walked in, waited for a few minutes. One of the mechanics came up, started talking to me. The way he did it at first, I'm like, oh boy, please don't tell me that they're going to try to rip me off. But actually, I got a deal in the end. Um, they were talking directly to me. They never really talked to my husband, which was weird. I'm not used to that. But they were like, okay, what vehicle do you want? Do you want to? I mean, immediately, do you want to test drive it? And I'm like, sure. And he was like, well, where do you want to go? I'm like, I'm just going to go around a lot. I mean, I can tell a lot by the first 5 minutes getting in a car. Number one. Number two, I usually do not like to drive off a property with a vehicle that's not mine. And so, I tested her out. Wheels good. Brakes are good. She seems to run smoothly. And I'm like, okay, this is the vehicle that I want to look at. He rummaged for keys for over 10 minutes, the whole entire time calling for the owner. Hubby and I walked down and looked at another lot. I scanned it, like, no. Went back to this lot. And, of course, I'm still in the 80s. So I'm looking at the sticker prices thinking that's the price of the vehicle. No, that's not the price of the vehicle. That's the price of the down payment. The price of the down payment for the one we were looking at was about $2,000. And we wound up getting $2,200. We talked with the owner. He was like, this is what I'm going to need from you, yada, 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 yada. Very, very thick accent, very hard to understand. But, we thought we had it all. So we went home. I called the insurance company because they want full liability coverage because you're making a down payment and you're making payments. The payments are only going to be for about a year and a half. I mean, this is what's great about working with a small business. Instead of the 27% APR, I only got 15%. And if, say, I'm down to the last 500 and I pay it off all at once, well, guess what? They knock off about 400 because that's the principal interest. They can afford to do that. Principal doesn't mean anything to them. They're trying to sell a car. So the last 500, I can, if I pay everything off, bang, before a year and a half is up, I don't pay that. So that was awesome. But, we said, okay, well, we'll head home. We'll go ahead and call the people we have to call, and we will come back with $2,200. Go home. Our one friend makes us wait 45 minutes. I mean, he literally lives 5 minutes up the road. We told him, this is the last time. We're going to need one last ride. Can you, come pick us up, just run us a mile and a half, 2 miles up the road to the bank, so we can grab $2,200. So we sit here and wait for him for 45 minutes. I mean, once we got a hold of him, once I got on the line with my insurance agent and told her I need full liability, she was like, oh, okay, so you're making payments. I'm like, yes, ma'am. So she rings off for about 10 minutes so that she can get things arranged. Called me back, tells me it's going to be $160 a month. But I'll pay it. I go ahead and I call him back. I'm like, okay, my insurance lady said it's this much. She's faxing all the information. There's something I have to sign and fax back. And while I'm doing this, I'm waiting for the guy who's supposed to come pick us up, who lives 5 minutes up the road. 45 minutes later, after I've already told the gentleman half an hour before I'm going to be there in 20 minutes, he shows up. We're like, oh my God, are you serious? We ran to the bank, grabbed $2,200, come back, and it turns out he wasn't asking about a voided check. He was asking about paycheck stubs. Yeah. And we're like, look, we've got jobs on the hook. We're expecting to be starting within the next week. But we don't have anything for you yet. He could have very easily told us to go away. Very easily. But he was like, look, you've got a family. You have to have a vehicle. I get this. This is how strict we are about things, which I totally got. I'm like, look, I understand. If I don't pay within a couple of days of my payment date, you're going to come repo the car. And I still have to pay it anyway. I totally get that. This is a business, not a charity. So, I mean, he was amazed that we glommed onto that. And I told him, I said, no matter what, you're going to get paid. That's not an issue here. I'm like, I'll even pay ahead if I have to, just to give myself that cushion for when I need it. You're going to get paid. So we put down $2,200, but he was like, look, since I don't have, check stubs, things like that for your work, he's like, I'm going to have to ask for $300 more. I'm trying to lower your payments for you, so that, I'm not hitting you so hard. I don't want to hit you hard. I don't want to repo your car because it's going to take twice as long to sell it again. He was like, if I hurt you, you're not going to come back here. He was like, but I'm going to need an extra 300. Instead of 2,200, I'm going to need 2,500. So I nabbed the guy who had taken us to the bank. I'm like, look, I need to make one more run. I went ahead and grabbed 600. Called the guy, told him I'm grabbing 600 instead. We're getting close to crunch time. Kiddos, it's almost 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Have to go get the kiddos. It's not that far of a walk, but we still have to get there to grab them in time. So I tell the guy, I'm like, anything my husband needs to sign, go ahead and have him sign it. I need him out the door by 4:05 at the latest to pick up our smallest ones. And he was like, no problem. We're doing all this via my little government cell phone. And he was like, okay, no problem. Hubby signs paperwork, starts walking. After standing in line for 12 minutes at the bank, I finally grab 600, get there, pay it. They've already pulled the vehicle into the garage. They're checking everything. And I start signing paperwork. It's still 6 o'clock before I get out of there. Hubby calls twice, but it's still 6 o'clock before I get out of there. But when I do, I drive away with a 2006 Jeep Liberty. I am elated. I am terrified. But this is wonderful. This is such fantastic news. The whole entire day was eaten up with this. But after that, I pulled an extra $30. I'm like, for once, we're actually just going to go somewhere else to eat. We drove down to a Chinese place. I told myself to not feel guilty. We drove down to a Chinese place. We picked up Chinese food from our favorite restaurant, brought it home. We stopped by Walmart. We got a lamp for hubby's table, picked up lampshades. We picked up a fan for our bedroom to block noise because we haven't had one of those in a while. Just some miscellaneous things here and there. It still added up to, $115, which I wasn't happy about. But then again, I hate Walmart. I hate giving the Waltons any money. But in the end, we started out with 4,800. Then we were down to about, by the time all was said and done, we were down to about 1,800. By the time insurance and everything got done, it was more along the lines of 1,600. Insurance, 2,800, went to Walmart. So by the time it was all said and done, I went from 4,800 down to 1,600, but I am not the slightest bit sorry. I even had enough where I could go and remember how my cell phone blew up? We're going to have the little government phone until both of us have jobs and no longer need it, and we can call them up and go, look, we make too much to have this. I went ahead and I picked up new phone and transferred my old cell phone number to it. Yeah. Transferred my old cell phone number just because, yeah, the account was still running. I couldn't find a way to deactivate it or shut it off. So that was a bit of a headache, and that was last night. Trying to run around, get a phone, everything else that was pretty much close to my old one. I tried to go through the site to get my old phone, and it kept rejecting me. And then to top it all off, I see these charges, for the phone and, dollar charges for trying to activate the card. And when I called a lady and waited like 45 minutes to actually get to somebody, she told me, she was like, if you got rejected, those are going to drop off. So for about $60, I got a new phone. I already had minutes that I could roll into it because I'm with Kroger iWireless. It means every time I buy groceries, I get, money towards minutes. So, new phone, new car. I will be taking a picture of the car and showing her to you. Wednesday was a nightmare. It was completely eaten up with this car. We were so exhausted by the time that we finally got home and ate dinner. It was only like, 7 o'clock at night, but we're completely wiped. It took a bit of doing, but she is beautiful. She runs great. For her gas, she's great. She's fantastic, and I am completely terrified. But we really want to keep her, and we're really looking forward to getting jobs and being able to get to them and being able to maintain her and maybe even buy another vehicle down the road. I mean, these are goals. We are trying to get out of the hole that we've been in for the last 3 years. I mean, we've always been poor, but it's been ridiculous the last 3 years, as you poor guys know. So, oh, on Walmart, we actually got a new phone. So anybody who calls me and is used to calls being dropped by my home phone, we shouldn't have that problem anymore. Um, Today I'm going to catch up with schoolwork. I'm going to catch up with you guys. Um, I mean, I'm still going to be walking the kids to the bus stop. I mean, on a spring day, I'm probably still going to walk down to the cigarette store to pick up meat or whatever. I mean, I'm going to walk to the Dollar General, it's not that far away from us, to pick up small items. But I actually have the ability to get to groceries, to get to a job. Being without a car for a year has taught us a lot. We can do it. We can make it without a car. It's hard, but we can do it. Um, and a lot of the stuff that we would just hop in a vehicle and, tool a quarter of a mile away, it's probably not going to happen anymore. We are so used to getting out and walking it. I mean, so on really nice days, that's what we're going to be doing. I mean, even when it's cold out, that's probably what we're going to be doing. We're so used to walking now. And that's not a bad idea. I mean, get out of the vehicle, walk. But we have a car for when we really need her. We have the ability to get to and from now. And that is the best feeling in the world. I still think it hasn't quite hit me that we have a vehicle. Um, this week has been utterly crazy. I went ahead and yesterday while I was getting my phone, I went ahead and I pulled the last 300 that I owe somebody. I am down to about $1,200 in my bank account to last us until we have jobs, so we can make payments, so we can keep up with everything. But I have never felt more free in my life. I don't think that I can really have much to complain about at this point. Our wants are simple. Our needs are simple. They always have been. Even this new cell phone, I mean, I paid $25 for 200 minutes. I don't use them. I have the phone just in case. We now have a vehicle just in case. We're going to do everything we can to make sure that we can hit that $1,500 every month, get it out the door, and still have something left over. This is a new beginning. This is exactly what we want. Just keep your fingers crossed for us. Thank you so much for getting us this far and for listening and holding our hands and supporting us the whole entire way. You guys are the best. I will be taking a picture of her with my new phone so that you all can see just how beautiful she is. And thank you. All your good vibes, your good wishes, your prayers, they have helped us oh so much. Know that you are just as much in my heart as I hope I am in yours. Thank you. And I will be talking to you guys soon. I am going to be catching up and then finishing up my schoolwork. But I will talk to you all very soon. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Love you guys.